Can you all see me? Oh, let me see what we got going on here. Let me see what we got going on here. There we go. There we go. Greetings, y'all. Greetings. Greetings. I'm definitely going to be doing my Palo Santo because today, hey, Mr. Stevens, tonight, Michael, I got to get this Palo Santo because we're going to be talking about some deep, heavy spiritual stuff right now, baby. We certainly are. There we go. There we go. How was your day? Greetings. Oh, I'm so glad you all are here. Chicago things in Chicago are thinging. You know, things in Chicago are thinging. Y'all, I really did a lot of research for tonight. And I'm not gonna be. I'm not gonna try to be too heavy. Hello, Miss Kimmy Hicks. Greetings. There we go. But it's gonna be deep. We're gonna go deep. We're gonna go deep. How's everybody's day going? I wanna give like maybe one more minute before we go into this. How are we doing, Kimmy? Just waiting for more people to come through. Your day was busy. I understand. Yeah, honey, it was busy too. It went by quickly. I heard Babyface and P Lessons. Love making things happen. Remember that song? Oh, people. Love makes things happen. Yes. Oh, I love that song. Michael, I love the fact that you love the old school. Barbara, greetings. Hi, love. All right. No better time than to get into this, okay? So here, let me start you off with this. All right, give me 1 second. Here we go. All right, there we go.
The historic 120-year-old East Wing of the White House reduced to rubble. Satellite images show the dramatic transformation from less than 1 month ago to now. Along with the building, at least 6 trees have been taken down, including 2 magnolias commemorated to Presidents Warren Harding and Franklin Roosevelt, all to make room for President Trump's 90,000-square-foot ballroom. This rendering shows how the ballroom will look when completed, much larger than the White House residence.
I think there'll be nothing like it.
The Trump administration has still not submitted plans to the National Capital Planning Commission, but insists all historical artifacts from the East Wing are safely being preserved. Still more critics are speaking out. Chelsea Clinton in a USA Today op-ed writes, President Trump has the right to pave over the Rose Garden and denude it of roses, as well as turn the East Wing into a ballroom. Still, it is unsettling that such substantial alterations are being undertaken without a historic preservation review. The president says the ballroom, expected to cost $300 million, will be funded by private donations and his own money.
How much am I donating?
Yes.
I won't be able to tell you until I finish, but I'll donate whatever's needed, I'll tell you that.
The demolition.
Okay. So when something that big happens, when destruction or chaos or fire happens to a structure like that, the first thing I ask myself, it's not why. That's not the first thing I ask myself. The first thing I ask myself is what energy just got unleashed? The East Wing of the White House is gone. A building that stood for centuries suddenly is torn open. You can rebuild walls, but you cannot silence energy. But the fact of the matter is, y'all, is that the White House has been crying. The structure has been crying for a long time. Um, it's seen presidents. There's secrets, lies, triumphs, tragedies, but underneath all of that marble and power, the White House is standing on sacred ground. It was built. It was built by hands that were never free, hands that prayed even while they were bound. So when I heard the destruction hit the East Wing, I didn't see politics. I saw an energetic eruption. Like the house itself said enough. Yeah. The White House, the White House has been haunted. You know, that's nothing new. Let me share this with you all. There you go.
And
There
you
you go.
know that she's hot when she can get the former First Lady, Laura Bush, on the show.
Yes,
So your
my
mom went on it.
My mom went on it, and during the interview, for some reason,
Move your hair like this on your mic. Just move.
oh, like that?
Yeah, just on
Is
your
that
mic.
better?
Mhm. Yeah.
Look, you never know what's going to happen in unscripted.
Yeah.
So during the interview, my mom started talking. She was there for her Nature Conservancy organization in
Okay.
Texas, but she started talking about ghosts in the White House. So can we just say,
Well, first of all, let's be true. Okay, so you went on Kelly Clarkson's show, and Kelly asked you if you thought the White House was haunted. And here's what you had to say. So this is the first piece of evidence.
True or false? There are ghosts in the White House.
True.
Never going.
True. Barbara and I were going to sleep. Our rooms were right next to each other. And it was in college when people would call late. So our phone rang and I woke up and all of a sudden we heard like 1920s piano music coming out of our fireplace.
exaggerate? No, that is
People
true.
say you exaggerate. Sources and your bestie Savannah said you exaggerate.
Why did she say that? I take offense to that.
Okay,
and I
but was there
appreciate
really-
you for saying 1920s music is creepy. Thank
It
you
is
for having my
well,
back.
it is creepy. So, so you really did hear it.
I really did hear it, and we can call my sister on speakerphone if people disagree. I'm happy to do that.
Okay.
We can do that, but would you like to see what my mom said first?
Yes.
We had Jenna on this show. I love your daughter, by the way. She's so fun. I kind of feel like we were separated at birth every time we hang out. But she mentioned that the White House was haunted. Did you ever experience that?
No, we never. I think Barbara and Jenna were the ones that felt like that it was haunted and pretended like they heard voices. And it's probably just the Secret Service talking down the hall in another room that they heard. But we didn't think it was haunted. We love living there. It's a magnificent house.
Okay,
Well,
it is a
so-
magnificent
well, no,
house.
Your mother basically said, no,
Well,
it wasn't
shall
haunted.
we do some research into can the Secret Service play 1920s piano
Well,
music?
clearly.
And I'll just add a little extra point into this. We
Yeah.
can call Barbara in the close if you'd like.
Oh, is that right?
We can call Barbara and put her on speakerphone.
Okay.
Why not? But I will
Okay.
just add a little point to this. When I left, that I was working at a school that summer, and I left. And what we did to put ourselves to sleep is there is a piano outside our room. We pretended the cat must have gotten on the piano. Okay. I left the room. There's an incredible man, Buddy, who still works at the White House. We adored him, and I said, Buddy, you wouldn't believe what Barbara and I heard last night. And he goes, oh, Jenna, you wouldn't believe what I've seen in these walls.
So that video was about 4 years old, but it was still pretty current. I tried looking for you guys. Michelle Obama, she said that Barack and her in their bedroom, they never felt like they were by themselves. So people have been talking. People have been talking about Lincoln's ghost. Yeah, walking the halls. Here, let me give you a little Lincoln. Yeah. They've been talking about Lincoln's ghost walking the halls. They've been talking about where is she at? Abigail Adams. There she go. Wait, hold on. Let me get him off. Let me give you Abigail. There's Abigail. Oh, look at Miss Abigail. Yep. Oh, Miss Abigail. Yeah. You know, Miss Abigail don't look happy. Miss Abby don't look happy, but I digress. You know, they were talking about Lincoln's ghost walking the hallways. Winston Churchill, this one right here. He even felt it. Winston Churchill said, he didn't say that the White House was haunted per se, but he famously claimed that he did encounter Abraham Lincoln in the Lincoln bedroom during the 1940s visit. According to Churchill, he entered the room and saw Abraham Lincoln's apparition standing by the fireplace. You know, and Winston Churchill just got out of the shower or the bath, and Mr. Churchill says, you know, "Good evening, Mr. President. You seem to have me at a disadvantage," because, you know, Winston, you know, he was in a state of undress, and I feel sorry for Abraham because didn't nobody want to see all that. But the encounter, it widely circulated stories, you know, and stories were reaccounting that Churchill said that, you know, he came out of the bath, he was naked, he had a smoking a cigar, and that's when he encountered Lincoln's ghost. You know, and instead of being frightened, Churchill reportedly, you know, he made a witty remark and the ghost vanished. That story has been told many, many times over the years. And sources including the National Constitution Center in the White House Historical Association, and various paranormal historical websites, they go and they recount that story as well. But let's talk about what whispers in the White House walls, because baby, that place got stories. The White House is one of the most haunted buildings in America, and not just because of the politics. There are spirits in there that never clocked out. Abraham Lincoln, yeah, he's main character right now. Folks have said that he has shown up in the Lincoln bedroom. He's shown up in the Yellow Oval Room. Queen Wilhelmina, let me give you Her Majesty right here. Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands, she even said that she saw him standing at the foot of her bed. Yep. Presidents, first ladies, even guests have felt Lincoln's presence. Very tall, still, watchful. Then we've got a ghost of a more sad nature right here. This baby right here. This is William Wallace, aka Willie Lincoln. That was the third son of President Abraham Lincoln and Mary Todd Lincoln. Willie was named after Mary's brother-in-law, Dr. William Smith Wallace. This baby died of typhoid fever at the White House during his father's presidency at the age of 11. Staff says that they still feel him around, especially late at night. We've got Andrew Jackson. There we go. People say you can hear him laughing, that deep, rough laugh from the Rose Room. And that laugh has been heard since the 1800s. They say that Thomas Jefferson, he still plays his piano in the Yellow Oval Room, like he's trying to soothe the house itself. And once again, we come back to her, Miss Abigail Adams. You know, people say that they catch her in the laundry, hanging laundry in the East Room. Staff say that they can smell lavender and wet linen, out of nowhere. Look at this. We got Miss Dolly Madison. Miss Dolly was a thick girl. Don't play with her rose garden. Do not play with Dolly's rose garden. Nay, nay. There's a story circulating that there were gardeners that were sent to disrupt the rose garden, and she appeared. And she kept appearing until, someone said, okay, we're going to leave the rose garden alone. And then, they didn't see her again. There's an unnamed British soldier, and he's been seen out on the lawn carrying a torch. That's a reminder that he was from the War of 1812. And again, he reminds us that not all battles end when the war does. All of these spirits, they got one thing in common. They got unfinished business. They got unfinished business. That's why that energy is still alive. But here's what I feel. The spirits, they're not restless just to be spooky. They're not restless so that they could be scary for just being scary. I feel that they're messengers. When stuff starts breaking down, falling apart, or getting torn down, that's not random. That is like a spiritual wake-up call. Anytime you rip up floors, you knock down walls, or you start drilling into old foundations, you're moving energy, period. You're disturbing what had been sleeping. And that's why renovations and destruction, they spark spiritual activity. It's not coincidental. It's energy shifting. They call that the residual energy a disruption. Energy doesn't lie. Energy doesn't lie. It just gets stored. They call that the stone tape theory, meaning materials like wood, plaster, stone, they can hold emotions like an emotional hard drive. That old energy replays itself. Sounds, feelings, memories, like the house is remembering its past, but in real time. Then you've got spiritual territorial. It's when the spirits are very territorial, and they're protective about certain places. They don't like their peace being disturbed. They still think that space is still theirs. So when you go and you start tearing things apart, they're going to get loud. That's what they call an intelligent haunting. Spirits actively trying to show you. They're like, yo, you're in my space. Those spirits didn't get the memo that they're no longer a part of this time. A lot of times, when you do renovations, people unearth things, locks of hair, letters, hidden charms, things that were meant to be sealed. Those objects hold a spiritual signature. So when you remove or you disturb them, the energy releases. And baby, that's when the house starts talking. So no, that's not random. That is spiritual exchange. When a place, when a space is built on pain, when that gets disturbed, when you break walls, when you dig into old foundations, you wake up what's been buried there. So so renovations are going to stir up spirits. And you wait, here's something. You all ever notice how, like, if you go to your grandma's house and you move the furniture, like how it just feels different? Multiply that feeling by 2 centuries of untold stories. The White House, it the White House, it's not haunted by presidents. But it's not haunted just by presidents. It's haunted, it's haunted uh by the truth. Let's not sugarcoat shit. Let's not sugarcoat nothing. The White House was built by enslaved hands. These people, their hands shaped the very structure where decisions about their lives were once made. And those decisions was never in their favor. Enslaved African people did that work. The stone, the lumber, the bricks, the sweat, every nail, every wall, every inch of that place carries their fingerprints. And yet these people, they were rented out like tools. The government cut checks straight to their enslavers, never to them. But still, those hands built something divine out of oppression. So this so-called house of power, it stands on strength. It stands on skill and on silent prayers of the very people that it tried to erase. That's the kind of genius you cannot chain. You can only try to bury. So imagine that energy, the prayers, the grief, the longing. That energy is still in those bricks. You can paint the walls, but you cannot bleach the energy. Every renovation, every teardown, every explosion, it's like reopening an old wound. And that's why the spirits rise. Because the truth buried in the foundation wants air. It wants acknowledgement. Here's where this gets real symbolic for me. Earlier this year, plantations, old ones, in the Deep South went up in flames. On May 15th of 2025, Nottoway Plantation, the largest surviving plantation, baby, she burned to the ground. She burned to the ground, leaving only part of the facade behind. Yep, that's her. This plantation was once marketed as a resort with a gym, a pool, tennis courts. The website highlighted the oak tree's measurements, but they ignored the brutal story, of slavery that built it. To many people, Nottoway was never a resort. It was a former slave labor camp where crimes against humanity went acknowledged. A fire just doesn't destroy, it purifies, it releases. I believe those fires and the destruction of the White House are part of a larger spiritual purge. Y'all, I feel we are in a collective exorcism. The energy that was once used to control, the energy that was once used to suppress and profit off of pain, it's being forced to the surface. The land remembers. Spirit never forgets. So this isn't about ghosts. It's not about hauntings. This is about shadow work. America's shadow is finally catching up to its image. Every time the truth tries to rise and folks try to bury it underneath patriotism or pride, the spirit world don't care about politics. It cares about the truth. Spirit world does not give a shit about politics. It lands on the truth. And until this country acknowledges what it's built on, until this country acknowledges what it's built on energetically, psychologically, spiritually, shit like this is going to keep repeating. These karmic cycles are going to keep coming through. You cannot heal what you won't face. And just as much as you cannot heal what you cannot face, you cannot be free on stolen ground without any kind of repentance. So this little thing, I didn't want this to bring out about being scary or ghost stories or nothing of that type. Right now, this presentation is about awareness. Every haunted place just wants to be heard. Every restless spirit just wants peace. So we can choose to fear these energies, or we can listen to them and honor them and help them move on. Y'all, I speak peace. I speak peace over the White House. I speak peace over these plantations. May every spirit, living or gone, find the freedom at last. For every restless spirit of the past, I wish you peace. I call justice to the living who carry their stories. No truth is lost. No wound is ever wasted. But at the end of the day, y'all, we need to come together and be the balance that restores sacredness to this ground. Yeah. I'm going to drop the link, y'all. I'm going to drop the link. And there you go. I dropped the link. Any of y'all have any stories of like if y'all have been visited by your ancestors, or let me know what places you all feel still carry that ancestral energy? Let me know. Nobody wants to come in? Okay. That's okay. That's okay. Well, I guess at this point we can end it now. I just wanted to come on here and, just say what I thought, my feelings about, what was going down with that White House and all of that stuff, and all of that stuff. Okay. All right. So with that being said, y'all, thank you so much. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for listening. Please do all of the things. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave me some commentary, all of those things. And I'll talk to y'all later. All right. All right. Be well, y'all. Thank you.